everyone, this is Sam, the Frugal Hugel gardener. I just got over the last hurricane, and here we go. We have another hurricane coming across the Bahamas towards Florida. It's going to wrap through the state, up the state, and out the state. So we may get hurricane force winds, definitely tropical storm winds, and a lot of rain, and a lot of flooding, and a lot of winds. So I'm out here first thing this morning propping up and securing some of my banana plants. So let's see what I'm doing to prepare for this hurricane headed my way again. Okay, so it's first thing in the morning, still a little dark. You can see I went ahead and put a tripod, which is a support for my banana plants, and you can see right there I crossed it, and it's crossed right on the stalk. That way the plant doesn't snap. And this happens to be a blue java plant, a genuine blue java, and you can see all these bees working it this morning. They're preparing before the storm because they're going to have to stay in their hive when the storm hits. Okay, so this is my blue java. Last time you seen this, there was no blue javas on it. It was just a flag leaf coming out. But this is what it looks like now. And right over here is another blue java. The bees are working it really good this morning. When I was putting up the bamboo to secure it, the bees were swarming around me because I was disturbing them. But even though they swarmed around my head, nobody stung me, which is good. Here's another tripod made out of bamboo coming up, secured by the stalk. And I'm really grateful that the bees appreciate me growing bananas, having blossoms for them to harvest the pollen to go back and make honey out of it. So they kind of know what I'm doing, even when my garden's going, and they fly around you, but they don't sting you. Thank God. I really appreciate that, bees. But I like supporting my bees, so when the female bud turns to a male bud and there's no more bananas, just blossoms coming out, I leave the bud because I want those bees to stay around. I want them to have a happy hive, and then they know and they keep coming back to my property for all my other vegetables that I'm growing and to gather more from the banana plant. So there's two blue javas that were not out last time I videoed, so let's go see some that were out. So right over here we have a little tripod. I may put a bigger one up here shortly. It's secured right over there where the stalk comes out, and here's my blue javas, and the bees are working it this morning. So that's what that blue java looks like. So let's go over here to my other one. Now right up in here you can see I got the bamboo. Gonna be hard to get up in here. You got bees working the bottom, and here's my blue javas right here. I'm gonna go up slow so you can see it. Let me extend this up. Okay, so here you go. I'm gonna go really slow, and if you can see, the bees are around me. And if you can see right there on the blue java, maybe if I could get it there, you can see the knuckles, hopefully. Those knuckles are what tells you that it's the blue java. Let me go the other way. I'm going to go around this way because the sun's coming up from the east. Okay, so right over here you can see these knuckles are forming right down at the bottom. And let me get up to this older one right over here, and you can see right there that the knuckles are forming. You can feel it good with your hand. It's just a little hard to get up there with the camera and see it with the sun. But hopefully you can see where they connect, that they all have the knuckles on them. Anyways, as they mature more, the knuckles will get bigger. But that's a genuine blue java. You could tell by the knuckles. I've been over this in all my other videos. And I did a comparison. The Nîmois ice cream versus the blue java ice cream side by side. So you can see they're totally different looking bananas and plants if you look closely. So with that said, let's go ahead to my other plant and see another rack of blue javas. Okay, so here we go. We got pollinators working those male blossoms, got the male bud, and we got the blue javas right up here. You can see how they're connected. You can see the flag leaf up there, you know, anyway. Okay, so that's a genuine blue java, along with my other ones. Now, if you count them, what are there? There's 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 of them, which is really cool because remember down the end there when the other hurricane hit, it pushed over and snapped and uprooted my blue javas that had blue java bananas on them. I had to cut them at the base. I went ahead and planted a corm, or actually a couple corms, when they folded over instead of folding them back. You know, some of them I had to cut. I had to destroy, chop and drop the bananas back in the ground, which is going to feed the new ones. So we're going to go over and check out my other blue javas that I harvested. So let's take a walk around. We'll look at some other bananas, banana racks that are on the plants. This is before the hurricane. And then we'll get around to the corm that I planted in the ground, and you can see the new growth. So let's get with it. Got some Mexican sunflowers. Now, if you remember my Mexican sunflower video after the storm, down that way, they all pitched over and uprooted. This one did not, and one other one did not. And these are the ones that got the blossoms on it, or got the flowers on them right now, the sunflowers. The other ones, when I chopped them 2 feet off the ground to fold them back over and replant the roots, of course, they're too young. They don't have it right now, so I missed the fall for the Mexican sunflower blossoms, but they'll be back again in the spring and next fall, even better, bigger, better than ever before. So, and I used all that chop and drop around my banana plants on the other side, which you'll see in a minute. So let's continue. Okay, so these are all blue javas over here that I separated. And this is blue java over here. I had to cut that bottom one off, but no new blue javas are forming yet. Okay, Matanzas, there was one with bananas on them that came down during the last hurricane. Nothing came in. But this one over here, it's got Matanzas banana rack on it. Another rack, flag leaf and everything formed. And here it is, it came out. That looks like it's doing good. And then another one right over here formed. It came out. And this is a nice healthy rack. You can see the pollinators on it. So they're all doing very nice. Considering this was the whole clump that folded over. Remember, I folded it back. I put a lot of heavy topsoil on this side so it didn't fall back over. Anyway, all that work paid off because now I got 3 banana racks on a clump of bananas that went ahead and uprooted the whole clump during the hurricane that we had last time. Look down below for that video. So, and over here, I got dwarf cavadishes and stuff like that, and they're not doing anything at the moment. So, let's go ahead down there, check out, see what my Mexican sunflowers are doing. Okay, here's my manure pile that I use for compost. So right up over here is the Mexican sunflowers. All these uprooted. I had to chop them down, and now they're all coming back. Some of them did not come back yet, but as you can see, they're all starting to grow out of the bottom, just like that. Pretty soon they'll be full grown. And right over here, you can see there's some Mexican sunflowers up on the top. They look really pretty. And right over here, these are the ones I had to chop down. They're coming back, but no sunflowers. There's a fruit tree. I had to tip it back over and tie it up, support it. And right over here is a whole row of Mexican sunflowers. If you remember in the video, they were all uprooted. I cut them back. They're looking better than ever before. So things are looking good. You know, once you have devastation, if you treat everything right, everything comes back after a while. You just have to like get over it. It's part of living in the tropics, and hopefully everything comes back fine. But it did take a lot of work, and my work is not over. So this here does not have any fruit on it, but as you can see, I have it supported because that was really leaning. And some of them over here, this is the ice cream banana, and as you can see, pretty soon these are going to start turning yellow. They're almost ripe now. They're nice and plump, so I'm thinking maybe December I'll be able to harvest them. I keep checking those daily to see if they start turning. Right over here, same thing. Ice cream banana. These got longer to go. They're still squared off a little bit. And then this one over here was the youngest. Right after the hurricane, it went ahead and it shot out a rack over here. And some of them that were out got a little damage from blowing around with the wind. But it looks like they're doing like really well. Okay, so let's go down this way. We'll look at a few more things. Okay, so right over here, I went ahead on my pond that I dug and I put a little rock wall just for aesthetics to make it look good. And I planted these sugarcane. I bought stalks of sugarcane that were just cut. I cut them and rooted them in the house, and these are the ones that survived. They seem to be doing good. They look nice and thick on the bottom. Now these eventually, well, right over here is my youngest one that I planted from the pot. Now these eventually, if they get big enough and don't freeze, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens with those. I'll cut those and I'll plant them, and hopefully this whole side over here will be sugarcane by next season. We'll see how that goes. Now right over here, this is where the devastation came in on all those bananas. A lot of them tipped over because there was a lot of weight on them and I didn't have enough bamboo. And even some of them with the bamboo tipped over, they split. But as you can see, I got a lot of bananas racks coming in. Okay, so right over here is a banana rack. Let me get around. It's looking good. Hopefully this goes ahead and ripens and ready to harvest before we get a freeze. Right over here, here's another. It's looking good. Remember, they're being supported up now. This one's supported up there. This one's supported. Okay, so this rack right over here is doing well. They're nice and big, and they look like they're going to survive. They're supported. This one right over here, I don't have a support on it. I'm going to try to get one to hold it up. Who knows, maybe the hurricane will knock that down. That's the brakes. Okay, so coming down this way, right over here, I have a praying hands. It's looking good. It's not ready to harvest yet, but pretty soon it will be. Now, excuse me, when I walk around, I'm looking down because we're on the pond over here. I don't want any snakes to get me. So, and right over here is a nice rack. It's supported up top. Hopefully that one's going to go ahead and ripen. Right over here is another rack. It's looking good. I'm hoping that one ripens pretty soon. It's looking pretty good. Okay, then going around this side, there's nothing else except for where we just were. So let's go over there and check out some more. Okay, so this rack over here is not doing good. You can see it's rotting. And there's some that's doing good. This one here was in the last hurricane. So I'm going to come in here and cut that one down. It's a nice big thick one. But I'm going to come and cut that down and chop and drop it. That's the brakes. I don't know why. I'm kind of thinking right up here. You can see that damage right there on the stalk. So there's no hope for that one. So let's go ahead and take a walk around. You can see on the bottom, I did a lot of chop and drop with the Mexican sunflower. I still have a pile over here. I chopped up a lot of it. I'm going to take out my chipper and I'm going to chip that and put the chips all around so I don't have all those big pieces. Eventually they'll degrade and go into the ground. But that's what it looks like when you go ahead and use Mexican sunflower. And remember, there's banana plants, there's banana racks and everything down under all of them, which is great chop and drop compost, food for your plants. Here's a really nice banana rack right here. That one's still young. It's going to take a while for it to ripen. And you can see a lot of my plants were damaged. They're over, they're browning. That's okay. I didn't have time to go in there and do all that. And a lot of the damage is up higher than I could go ahead and reach. And that tells me that I can't get up there and do it. So you know how that goes. So over here's another rack. This one here came out after the hurricane. And right down in here is another rack. It's looking good. You can see the rack here. It's supported nicely. It's still got a little ways to go. And right over here is another rack. And right over here is another rack. It's supported nicely. So we'll see how that one matures. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of a cold spell. And coming right over here, this is that really nice praying hands that is really huge. And you can see how far it goes up. Goes way on up. And it's covered by some of the leaves. You can't even see the top of it. But that's a really nice praying hands. I'm hoping that that matures soon. It's looking good. Right over here, I got another rack. Move some stuff out of the way. Okay, so right over here we got a decent rack. It's still really young, but you can see how far up that goes. It's supported. Hopefully this one here matures. Here's a really nice rack hidden down in here. You can see that stalk. You can see it coming down right over here. Let me remove this. There you go. This is brand new, and you got pollinators on it. Now when they're young like that, we're in November. December, January, February, March, it may not survive if we go ahead and get a heavy frost. And in that case, I'll chop it down, put it into the soil, and it'll decay and go down in and feed the other ones that come up. Banana plants do not know that they should blossom in the spring so you can harvest them in the fall. They just blossom whenever they want. Okay, so right over here is another banana rack. I don't know if this one will make it through the winter, but it's looking good. Okay, so right over here is another banana rack. It's looking good, but it's still got a ways to go, so who knows what's going to happen this winter. Right over here is a beautiful banana rack. It's still got a ways to go. I'm hoping that it will mature and ripen before we get a freeze. And the same thing right down in here. I got another rack going on up. And going around this way, these leaves are covering up. Let me undo it. Got a nice rack right in here. As you can see, it goes up nicely. It's going to go ahead and hopefully mature before we get a heavy frost, but I don't have my hopes up for some of the racks that are now on the plants because we're in December, but it would be nice. Who knows? But once again, chop, drop, lay them on the soil around the base of the plant, and that will fertilize, give good nutrients for the new growth coming up. So now, let's go on down and check out those blue javas that I planted the corms in the ground and see how they're doing. Okay, so right over here, I planted this corm. It was tall. This is part of it. As you can see, I chopped that off because I wanted a sucker to grow new out of here, and this is just going to grow suckers. I tried to have that one grow off the top, but it started, we had some cold spells, so it started getting a little soft. So instead of having it rot, I cut it, and when you cut it, that promotes new growth, and there it is. Now this one right over here is that real big corm that I planted in the ground right after the hurricane. And it gave off 1 sucker, 2 suckers, 3 suckers, 4. And look how big and thick the bases are on those right now. So this is looking like it's going to be four healthy blue java plants right over here. Okay, so hey, the thing about that is when the hurricane uprooted it, if I didn't think about preparing it so I could plant it, that would have been chopped and dropped. Instead, I chopped and dropped the whole top, and I went ahead and utilized the corm on the bottom, and now I have 4 more blue java plants. How great is that? Okay, so let's go back down this way. Okay, so right over here is another fruit tree. It's a loquat. You can see I got a post in the ground. I did a video on how when they uproot it that way, and I pulled it up and I supported it. It's doing nicely. It's got Loquat blossoms on it, so in the spring hopefully I'm going to have Loquats, and there's blossoms on all my other Loquats, and every Loquat tree uprooted, and I had to do the same thing to it. So let's continue. Okay, so right over here is another Loquat tree. As you can see, I went ahead and held it up. I supported it, straightened it back up. Now the whole tree's got blossoms on it, and I should have some nice Loquats in the spring. Okay, so right over here is a corm of a ladyfinger plant that I planted not too long ago. The video's down below. But let's go ahead and check out and see the new growth on it. Okay, so I had somebody send me a ladyfinger corm. I told them how they could ship it. I went ahead and planted it, cut it down over here, and as you can see, there's new growth on it. And hopefully this will continue. If we get a cold spell, this is going on the porch, but it's looking good. I don't know if I should have cut more of this off or not, but it's looking good. It's nice and wet. Hopefully it lives. We'll see what happens with that. And right over here, I got bamboo right there. I got bamboo right over here. I got a bamboo plant here and a bamboo plant here. Okay, so these bamboo plants I ordered and they were shipped to me. They're two different varieties. Now these are going to grow to be about 25 foot tall and about 2 inches to 2.5 inches round. But I got this variety over here, both of these varieties, to see which one grows better and which one I like better. But I have used them before, and the insides of them grow really thick and they're really strong. A lot of bamboo grow and they look good, they're real tall, but when you cut them, they're really thin, and then when they dry out, they snap and they don't support banana plants. So when I plant these in the spring, I left them in the pots because if we get a frost this winter, I'm going to put these on my porch so they don't freeze, and then I'll plant them in the spring. And within a year or two, probably 2, maybe 3, I'll have a lot of bamboo that I'm going to make, you know, along the fence line. That will be my privacy, but they're going to be utilized because every time I need bamboo, I'm going to cut them down at the base and go ahead and use them on my banana plants, so I don't have to go looking for any, and I'll have a good supply of them. Okay, so right over here I have 3 Florida Prince peach trees, and I'm growing these here in Florida because we don't get a lot of cold spells that last a long time, and peach trees along with other fruit trees need chill hours. Now these only need 150, and they produce really well, like 1,000 or more peaches. Of course they gotta get bigger, but I want to show you that 2 of them are in pots and 1 of them are in the ground, and they're the same age. So you can see which ones are growing faster. So let's check it out. Okay, so right here, you can see this one right here. It's in the ground. See how thick it is? And you can see how tall it is. Now this one and this one, I kept in the pot. And you can see they're not as tall. And they're not as thick. You see that? In the spring, I'm going to go ahead and plant both of these. The beds that I prepared, they're still a little hot. I put horse manure in them, but the temperature's too hot, so I couldn't plant them. I tried, and then it started losing its leaves because the roots were too hot, so I dug them back up, put them back in pots. But this one over here that I planted in the ground, it's loving this spot right here. Look how good it's doing. I'll trim those branches in the spring. I'll get it to do what I want it to do, and this is going to be a perfect place right here. Perfect place for a Florida Prince peach tree. Every time I leave the house, I could check them out, And when there's peaches on it, I'm going to grab one, go to the garden. When I come back from the garden, I'll grab a bunch of them, bring them in the house. And ooh, I'm going to go ahead and love my peaches, even in desserts or pies. I don't know. I'm going to do something good with them. So let's go ahead and go over there and check something out. Okay, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little tour. Remember, I got a hurricane coming, so I decided to do a tour, because who knows what my property is going to look like after. It's supposed to have high winds, it's supposed to have heavy rain that's going to flood the area, and who knows what's going to happen. Got my fingers crossed that we don't get it bad over here. And then this video is, I'm glad I made it through it without getting hit, you know, who knows. But hey, this is Sam, the Frugal Hugel Gardener. Hope you enjoyed my video. Go ahead and give me a like, give me a share. Come on over to my Facebook page, come on over to my Facebook group, say hi, post photos, tell us about your garden, ask some questions, we would love to help you. And with that said, see you after the storm. Okay, so I'm outside. We've been having rain and gusts of winds coming through. It just kind of like stopped a little bit from raining, so I came outside, took a little walk to see what's going on around my property. Down the beach side over there, we got erosion that's undermining buildings, and the buildings are falling into the water. The piers are coming apart. The dunes are all gone. They're gonna, and the hurricane didn't even get here yet, and the high winds are just getting here, and already they're having problems down there. So I wanted to check everything out. So when I was outside, I checked out my ice cream banana plants, and they're ready to harvest, but I'm not going to harvest them to just after the hurricane. Even if it falls over, I'll be able to harvest it. But this is what it looks like. I got some yellowing over here, and up there you can see that one there is really yellow. So those are ready to harvest, but I'm going to wait until after this hurricane passes. And I've been looking at the gusts of wind that been coming through and looking at to see what my banana plants are doing. Let's check that out. Okay, so as you can see, they're going in the direction of the wind. We have bands that come through. You'll see that, well, anyway, you'll see like right now, if I turn it that way, you'll see. You might even be able to hear it when the band comes through, just like this one right here. I don't know, probably 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, I don't know. It's pretty strong. Everything folds over. So I'm hoping that my banana plants are gonna hold this time and be supported. Only time will tell. They were just starting to recover nicely from the last storm that came through. So hey, you know, it's all up to Mother Nature. All I could do is go ahead and hope for the best and see what happens. This is part of living in the tropics in Florida. You know, sometime they say between like 5 tonight, 6 tonight, and 6 tomorrow morning. By 9 tomorrow, we're going to have the worst of it. So I would think we're going to have a lot of flooding happening around here. We normally don't have any flooding, but we did last time. And I had a lot of banana plants come down, so we'll see what happens this time when the storm comes through. Keep my fingers crossed. We'll catch you later. Okay, so as you can see, I got a lot of supports holding up my plants that have the banana racks on them. These are the blue Java. But I've been watching them, and they're like, when a gust comes, they're just blowing really hard, and that banana rack is heavy. So, you know, I got 5 plants with banana racks on them. We'll see what happens. I put a lot of support on them, but that don't mean, like this one here is leaning this way, it don't mean that it can't blow over that way. This one here is supported up nicely. So we'll see what happens with these here. Okay, I'm headed back in the house. Talk to you later. Okay, so I'm outside first thing in the morning when it got light. It's raining out. Still got gusts of wind coming. I'm going to take a walk around. The camera's definitely going to get wet, so bear with me. I'm going to walk away from the wind at first, so it's not in the camera, but about the time I go on the other side, it's probably going to get all wet. I'll see if I can walk backwards or something. So here we go. Okay, so you're seeing it along with me for the first time. Okay, it looks like my Mexican sunflowers over here uprooted. Yep, there they are. They uprooted. So I'll have to lift those back up. All the ones that I cut last time back, they all seem to be doing good. I've got a little bit of water happening. Okay, they seem to be all standing over here. My banana plants over here with bananas on them are doing good. Okay, the ones that I videoed yesterday are doing good. I'm going to have to harvest those today probably. Okay, so everything's kind of looking good. We had the front half of the hurricane come through this morning, and right now we're sort of in the middle of it. The back end will come by later, and the back end is what got me last time. It was worse than the front side of it. Okay, so over here it looks like my bamboo shifted. I'm going to try straightening that up before it collapses. I can see some got pulled over here. Oh, I got a banana plant down right here. Yep, it's split at the base. Okay, I got to get up over in here. And I got to re-support this up right here. Let me support that up and I'll get back with you. Okay, so I went ahead and I just supported that up right there. It's still leaning a lot, but at least that's supporting. Whew. Okay, so far just that one. Okay, so far just that one banana plant came down. I'm getting blown. Let's go over here and check out some more. Okay, coming back here, everything's looking good. This is my real heavy banana plant. Okay, this here is split, my bamboo split, but I put two. As you can see, I put two sets of bamboos up. I'm glad I did. This one would have collapsed by itself, but it looks like the second one is holding it up. I'm glad, because this is a real nice, big, heavy rack of bananas. So I'm glad I put two on that one. Same thing over here, that's holding up. Glad I got boots on. Okay, so all that's looking pretty good. Look at them blowing over there. See how they just fold up and over when the wind blows? That's a lot of pressure. Look at that. Let me see if I can capture this before we go around. Okay, you can see that's a lot of pressure pushing everything that way. I hope they hold up. Alright, so let's go down the other side and I'll turn this back on. Okay, so some of my deer-proof fencing came down and it's pounding on my plant over here. And it's damaging it, so I'm going to pull this off here and I'll get back with you. Okay, so I went ahead and removed all that. That way it doesn't go ahead and damage the plant anymore. But it does look like the wind is making it lean. Last time the wind was going that way and this time it's going that way. You can't win. But let's go over here. This is my blue Javas. It seems like they're holding up pretty good. I might have to reposition the bamboo because the wind is shifting. But they're holding up really well over here. I'm glad. I got multiple supports on them. Even this one's holding up right here. I'm glad. Back in there, that's my plant from last time that uprooted. That's holding up really well. See it right over there? It's holding up really well. It looks like maybe one's leaning. We'll see that in a second. Here's another blue Java. And there's a flag leaf coming out. Right there is a new flag leaf. But it looks like it's holding up really well. Okay, all those seem to be good, doing good in there. Alright, so everything's looking pretty good. The gusts are coming, I'm getting wet. I just want to do a quick little video. Going in the house, when this back end goes around, I'm going to come back out again, see what kind of damage there is. So, I'll be back at you. Oh man, listen. You hear that? I just started going inside and a humongous gust. Look at those trees bending over there, regular trees. Wow, that band came through and really ripped. I'm getting inside to safety. Okay, hey, this is Sam, the Frugal Hugel Gardener. This is the day after the hurricane passed through. The first day we had the front end of it. The second day we had the tail end of it. A lot of damage down by the beach. We have like 20-something houses that fell, that got undermined and collapsed. We got big high-rise condos that are declared unsafe, and who knows what's going to happen to them. But I went ahead this morning, took a walk around my property, and I'm going to show you what happened here in a little bit. But first, I have some ice cream bananas that I videoed before the hurricane, during the hurricane, and now after. And I need to harvest them because, as you can see, they're ripe, and a few of them are splitting. Couple little splits over here, but that does not mean anything because yesterday there was no splits. And this is what it all looks like right over here. Okay, I have my machete and I'm going to go ahead and harvest that. So, as you can see, I went ahead and moved my supports, and that brought this down to eye level. And it goes to show, if this was not on there, this would have been pushed down on the ground by the hurricane. So they work really well. Not 100% foolproof, but they do their job. I don't think anything's going to work with hurricane force winds, but in just tropical winds, daily, all the time, it's going to work fine. And this one did survive the last hurricane and this hurricane. So, you know, you got a pretty good chance of having them come out okay. So with that said, cut off the bottom. That's now chop and drop. You can see all this sap dripping out. I have a couple shirts in the house. When I lift them up to show on the video, I got a couple drops on me. After you wash your clothes, that's a permanent stain. They look bad. The shirt's still good, but they look bad. So I really only use those shirts now when I dig holes and do stuff like that. And this morning, I'm wearing a t-shirt that I wear for junk, because if it gets that on it, you know, it's okay. I'm not going to wear a good shirt for that. So anyways, let me go ahead and give this a cut. Okay, so right here we have my ice cream banana. Oh, it's dripping all over me. Let me hold it this way. Okay, so this is my ice cream banana, and they're ready right now to harvest and eat. Go ahead and pull one off. And trust me, I'm going to have some of these for lunch. They are so good. Okay, and this is chop and drop. When I bring these in the house and I peel them all, I always put them in a bowl and bring them out here. And if you let that bowl sit in your house for a day, those fruit flies, don't ask me how, but they find their way in your house and they're all over. So you take a cup, you put a dot, just a little drop of Dawn in there, and you put some apple cider vinegar in there. Just fill it up about this much with water, set it down, and the next day there's going to be like 100 in there. All right. Forget the video. I'm just going to stand here and eat them all. What I have to say about these is I use these in my cereal and just to eat as a snack in the house. Now my other larger and thicker bananas, I use those for shakes, because it only takes 3 of those big ones to make a really good shake, and it takes 3 times the amount of these to make a really thick shake. So okay, so here you go. Here's an ice cream banana rack. And you can see what it looks like down below. Look at that. Dripped on my shirt, trying to show you something. If this was a good shirt, that's now ruined. So anyway, hey, if you enjoyed my video of harvesting a rack of ice cream bananas right after the hurricane, give me a like, give me a share. Come over to my Facebook page, come on over to my Facebook group. Until then, we'll see you later. Okay, hey, this is Sam, the Frugal Hugel Gardener. This is the day after the hurricane. We had the front end, then the next day we had the eye of it, and then we had the back end of it, and now this is the day after. I'm going to go around and show you what happened to my banana plants. I think you'll be fascinated on some of the things that happened, you know, the way they shifted. So anyway, I'm in front of this ice cream banana plant here. I just made a video of me harvesting it. I still need to go ahead and chop and drop it. I had the bananas, I had my machete, I got some sap on me, and I was sticky, so I just said I'll put that in the next video because I need to go wash my hands and put that inside. So with that said, let me show you what everything looks like right after the hurricane. Okay, so these banana plants here, if you, the beginning of this video, you'll see they were really hanging to the left. I had them propped up, but the wind came this way, and then the back end of it came this way, and it pushed it up. and now they're straight up. I did not do that, the wind did, and the tripod is just holding it straight up. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that like that. The rest of these plants over here look pretty good. You know, I got broken ones on top and stuff. Here's an ice cream banana plant. This one was out here more. It shifted back, but it's holding up nice. And I'm going to go ahead and rearrange the supports on it a little bit, but that's for another time, a little bit later or something. Okay, and right over here, I had this propped up, and it's still propped up pretty good, so I'm happy about that. So let's go down here and we'll check out some other stuff. Okay, so right over here are my sugar canes. You can see the wind came and blew them. Some of them are now laying sideways, but that's not going to have any effect on them, I don't think. I don't even think I'm going to try to put them back up. That's just Mother Nature doing it. Now over here, I have one support that came off. The banana plant is hanging down. I'm going to, with the rack on it, I'm going to have to support that up before it splits. Hopefully it's not split on the bottom. The other one's holding up pretty good. This here is leaning. I'm going to have to support it up. It doesn't look like it cracked, so it's still okay. I have this banana plant that cracked. It's on the ground. All the others are looking pretty good. My racks of bananas that are supported are doing really well. Now I'm going to have to redo this one here. That, when the wind blew it up, it came off, so this is just hanging. I'm going to have to put that support up there. Do you see the way it's missing now? Look at that. It's not, nothing's holding it up right now. And I got to put it back on the stalk before that pulls to the ground. And all the others going around are doing fairly well. This Orinoco is doing okay, but look on the ground. You see that? That fell. It's off of it, so this is just hanging. I'm going to have to support that up again with the support, or that's going to collapse. So I got my work cut out for me today, but it's looking good. These are looking good over here. You know, the leaves are all messed up, but nothing's on the ground. Okay, so coming over to these, they're all beat up, but they're all looking good. They'll get their leaves back. Okay, this rack is holding up pretty good in there. Everything's looking good. This rack over here is doing good. My supports are doing good. Once again, that's holding up this big rack, even though this is split, but I have two on that. My banana rack in here is doing good. My support's still holding that one up nice. I got a couple small ones on the ground. I'll have to like cut those, chop them, drop them right where they are. All these are looking good. Okay, right up over here, this rack right here, this whole rack was hanging down towards me a lot. The wind pushed it that way. So I'm going to have to move those supports and bring it down to me a little bit. It's amazing what that wind does. This banana plant right here, look at the way it's just leaning like that at the top of it. That will straighten out. And it was a really nice thick base on it. Look at that. Huge. That one broke. This praying hands right here is still holding up good. Although the wind did blow it back, it's straighter up. Same thing with these. These were leaning down towards me. The wind blew it way up high. Look at that. And this one here is leaning over more. It's got those racks on it, but they're being supported. I'm going to have to get in there and do something. Okay, all in all, I think those survived pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look at my blue javas. Okay, pit stop before the blue java. This is my Loquat tree. On the last hurricane, they folded over that way. They uprooted. I pulled them back and they were supported. This time the wind blew it that way, and you can see the rope isn't even supporting it right now. So Mother Nature last time blew it over that way. Mother Nature this time straightened it out. I'm not going to have to do anything to that one. That's amazing. Mother Nature pushed it back right where it's supposed to be. Okay, blue java time. Okay, so I'm in front of my blue java plants. They're going down that way. Let's check them out. They did shift. They all had supports on them. I tried to support them up really good because I didn't want any of these to fall over. Let's check them out. Okay, this support right over here is holding good. This banana rack was over this way more. Now it's over this way more, but it's being supported good. They're all looking really nice. I'm happy about them. The pollinators are back. Now this one over here, it's looking good. The plant is leaning this way more. I'm going to have to go ahead and redo the support, but it's looking really good. Okay, right over here I supported these up. As you can see, they stayed in place. I'm happy. Right over here I supported this, and I supported that one up there. If you watch my other videos, there was a lot more leaves over here, and this was down further. So the wind pushed it up, and it's being supported. I'm going to go ahead and support it a little bit differently. I'm going to put that support back up there a little bit better and bring this one here down to me a little bit better. But all in all, they survived. Okay, now this one over here was coming out this way. It got pushed around this way, but the rack is doing good. The top leaves got blown off, but it's doing pretty good. So I'm definitely happy about that. This little clump over here is doing good. My Mexican sunflower, you can see the angle it's on. It's over here laying down, so I'm going to have to come out here and cut that back and straighten it up. Okay, right over here is the blue javas that I'm propagating. This came off. This was holding this one up. I'm going to have to get back here and do it. The wind blew it off, but right over here I got a blue java flag leaf. You see that flag leaf right there? That's another blue java rack coming out. Now, any banana racks that are coming out in November like it is now, we're probably going to have a cold spell and they won't survive, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so too bad Mother Nature does not know. Have the blossoms, have the bud, the blossoms, and fruit in the spring so you can harvest them in the fall. They just come whenever they want, because normally banana plants are for the tropics, way down south where they don't even get a winter. Okay, right over here, It's held up. I got some damage up there. You can see all the leaves blew the other way. Even the supports blew. I gotta re-support this up because it's supposed to be holding it up on that. But they're looking good. And this one right over here, you can see this support, it blew off. It's not even holding it up. Look at that, it's not even holding it up. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and put this support under here. But that's after the video, so it's really hard to do it when I got a video in my hand. So let me go back out here. Okay, so over here I got more Mexican sunflowers that are laying down on the ground. They went ahead and uprooted. You see right there, they're uprooted. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these and then put it back straight. Last hurricane I went ahead and cut these and I straightened them up because they were all laying down uprooted. They're all doing good. This Loquat tree is now leaning that way. This was tight, now it's loose. I'm going to have to pull this back this way. And all these Mexican sunflowers over here, after the first hurricane I cut those down. You can see they're growing up nicely. So when you trim things, you cut it back, straighten them up, re-root them and stuff. They come back, you just got to get to it before the sun gets to it. So with that said, let me get my tripod and we'll go straighten up those banana racks over there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and straighten everything up a little bit so there's no, the weight of it doesn't pull them down. I'm not going to go ahead and chop anything because I'm going to get sappy. I'll do that after I put the video camera away. So all I'm going to do is remove this and I'm going to re-support it right up under here. Okay, so just like that, just to keep the weight from pulling the plant down. Okay, this one's off. Now I'm going to grab this right down over here. Put that in the center. Okay, that's enough. I don't have to push them up just so the weight of it holds it up. Okay, so I just propped those up a little better. Let's go prop up the other ones a little bit better. This one won't take long. Okay, so same thing with this blue Java. I'm just going to go ahead and re-support it. Okay, so this big guy was leaning this way. The wind blew it up, so I'm going to have to re-support it. Okay, that's good enough for now. The weight wasn't on it, but I'm sure it'll push back down on it, but it is supported. Okay, that one supported a little bit better. Let's tackle these. Okay, I just had to move the one bamboo on that. Okay, so I spread those out more, angled it supported nicely. Okay, so you get the idea. I got to go around and do this to all the rest of them. Make sure they're supported on the stalk. Because if it's supported on the plant, it can still snap the plant. But the stalk is strong enough to hold them up. And then I'm going to take out my machete and chop and drop what I need to do. But I don't want to get all sticky doing the video. So, hey, with that said, this is Sam, the Frugal Hugel Gardener. This is 3 different days of videoing before the hurricane, during the hurricane, and after the hurricane. Hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, give me a like, give me a share. Come on over to my Facebook page. Come on over to my Facebook group. We would love to have you. Till next time.